Amphibia's music is pretty darn good, and I find it criminal at how underdiscussed it is. Hence, I'm going to discuss in minute detail all 11 hours of released soundtrack. I'm joking. Although I do highly recommend going to TJ Hill's channel, as he has some pretty neat stuff there. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the more popular OSTs from Amphibia, and without further ado, let's get started, after you like the video. The intro starts with an electrical rise as the Calamity Box transports the trio. We get a small chord progression that sounds perfect for an entry to another world, and then we get the main theme, played by violins, which is very fitting when considering what Sprig also plays. The intro starts off cheery and gets more and more dramatic as Anne and Sprig are shown getting into more dangerous scenarios, and ends off with the title screen, Amphibia. Fun fact, Matt Braley has confirmed that the frog monster you can see just behind the logo is a representation of Amphibia's greed and corruption, which I find to be a really cool detail. I guess I should also mention Sasha's and Marcy's theme takeovers, which are just parodies of the original theme, but have their voice actors sing what happened to them in the first few months when they arrived. I do really much appreciate this line from Marcy as well.
Hope nothing bad ever happens to me.
Now this next song is one you definitely know, Flight of the Moth, and jeez, why is this so good? This entire song is such a bop, and I highly recommend watching this video of an extended version of it, because my god it goes hard. This episode was also phenomenally done, as it depicts how parents often push their kids to be the best to the point of burnout. I wonder if Matt had any inspiration for this episode. Now while this next song isn't an OST, I still feel that it is important to talk about. This scene from the season 1 finale. The song is Lean On Me by Bill Withers, and it is supposed to be a cheerful and nostalgic song, yet Amphibia expertly manages to make it sad and mature. And this shot, it just breaks my heart. It is so powerful when you think about it, and also very dark, as Sasha nearly ended herself due to how bad of a person she realizes she was. Anyway, I guess it's time to talk about the outro, otherwise known as Anne's theme. There are multiple variations of Anne's theme, although in season 1 the only variation is the snow episode. I don't know how TJ Hill does it, but he somehow makes every outro so nostalgic and peaceful. And this fits even with the finale, as Anne embraces the planters, calling them family. End season 1. The season 2 intro is the same as season 1, just with some visual changes. I mean, there is the Halloween intro, but that's just spooky. There wasn't too much in terms of notable OSTs until True Colors, so I'm going to talk about Marcy and Sasha's theme. First, Sasha's theme, which a lot of people have pointed out reflects her character arc. As you can probably hear, it starts off with a sinister and melancholic vibe, as if the villain is about to enter, and gets more and more dramatic with the rapid strumming. But then, the music rises, and it now sounds full of hope, as if it is the start of a new beginning for someone. And then it turns heroic, reflecting Sasha's selflessness. Heartstomper uses the same motif, but the song is purely electric. There is no heroic part, as Sasha is still selfish and looking out for only herself. Personally, Sasha's theme is my favorite theme, as I've never heard something that perfectly captures a character and their growth like this. But on to Marcy, whose theme immediately starts upbeat and sounds like an 8-bit video game soundtrack, which fits her perfectly. However, there's still an underlying theme of sadness, which again is perfect for her character. I also appreciate the off-tune strums as a representation of her clumsy nature, masterfully done. Now these themes are often played when a character is on screen or about to enter. If you want to see every time these themes are played in the entire show, this absolute mad lad made an hour-long compilation of every time these themes are played. Quick tangent, but holy crap, I don't even want to know how long this took. I joked about meticulously going through all the hours of released OST, but this person actually went and did that and synced all the footage together. Anyway, I guess I should talk about the outros in this season. The main one shows the planters traveling in the wagon. The song here sounds like something you would hear around a campfire, as you are traveling through the unknown with a harmonica and I think a banjo being used. The next outro is the Hopping Mall outro, a beautiful and slow piano rendition of Anne's theme. as she embraces Sprig after he reveals that he never got to know his mother. A beautiful piece for a bittersweet moment. I also just want to mention TJ Hill's live performance of Anne's theme before we move on to True Colors. Oh boy, this episode. Let's start off with something small and calm, like when Anne tells Sasha she hates her for betraying them yet again. The reason I want to start here is because it is kind of a precursor to everything else I'm about to talk about with this episode. Plus, the music perfectly encapsulates the feelings in the scene. First, melancholic music plays, as Anne realizes that Sasha has never changed. Then, it becomes more dramatic, as Anne tells Sasha what a horrible person she is, and that she is done being friends with her. Intense music rises, as Sasha threatens to send them back to the human world. But it doesn't work. The next piece I want to talk about is the Sasha versus Anne fight. The music starts off tense, as Sasha attempts to talk things out, but understandably, Anne isn't willing to listen. Sasha has no choice but to fight, and the music turns incredibly dramatic, almost Star Wars-like as the two fight. But it is here that we get into the more intense stuff. Marcy's truth. You can tell something is off as Andreas reveals of a plan he and Marcy made, and as Marcy pleads and tries to explain herself to Sasha and Anne, an incredibly sad rendition of Marcy's theme plays, with the children's choir in the background reflecting her naivety. This scene is one of the best plot twists I've ever seen in modern TV, and in my opinion, is the most heartbreaking scene in the entire show. But that discussion is for another day. Now let's stop for a moment. Imagine that you're Anne. You've been thrown into an unknown world, fighting to survive, away from your family, forced to adapt to a world that is hostile to your very existence. You've worked hard to earn the trust of everyone. You've put your life on the line multiple times to find a way back home. But now, you don't know who to trust. Everybody has betrayed you. Everybody has secret plans. Your friends, the kind one who took you in, the king who vowed to help you. Nobody can be trusted. Nobody will help. Except one. The one who has been with you since the very beginning. Who has stood alongside you the entire way. Who has fought for you. Who you can trust your life with. Your one and true friend. You'll do anything to keep them safe, wouldn't you? In a world where lies and backstabs are rampant, where you question every person's motive, you still have that one person to rely on, that one person to have your back, and they are thrown away like garbage. Well, you'll probably feel like this. Although the music is rising, it's still sad, almost as if you've lost somebody. The way Anne demands, pleads, begs for Andreas to bring Sprig back is heartbreaking, and you know in that moment, everything is about to change. But wait, Sprig is alive! Marcy's got the box! We have a chance! We can all go home! Come on, Marcy! Let's go home!
I'm sorry for everything.
The long notes perfectly capture the feelings of this episode, and the happy pictures make it hit even harder. But then the music rises, as if saying that there is hope, and that things will get better. True Colors is a masterpiece, and I plan to make a video on it sometime in the future, so if you want to see that, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. Anyway, on to Season 3. We start off with a quiet, upbeat intro sequence of Anne's theme, as it incorporates human world sounds such as car honks and phone notifications into it. The Season 3 outro is also very upbeat and anime-like. Personally, while I do like the tune, it just doesn't fit right, and it's part of the problem where Season 3 isn't serious enough. But moving on. There is Rebecca Sugar's Christmas song, but I don't really know what to say about it. It is really sweet and nice to listen to, so there's that. Darcy's theme is also incredibly tense and dramatic, with deep, sinister strumming, keeping the viewer on edge whenever she is on screen. But now, I'm going to go ahead and skip to All In. I'm going to go a little bit out of order here for the sake of the video. First, as Marcy is shown in the Mindscape, a beautiful track plays that really captures that video game feel. But as Marcy realizes that it wasn't real, a very sad rendition of her theme plays, and as Marcy stands up to the Mindscape, the music turns heroic and rises, reflecting Marcy's character. Now, there is the fight between Anne and Andreas and Sasha and Darcy. The two overlap, so I'm going to start with Anne and Andreas first. You can hear Andreas' theme as he challenges Anne to a rematch. And Anne's theme gently plays as she reveals to the planters how much she has grown with them before going off to fight Andreas. The music starts dramatic as Anne and Andreas face off against each other, and turns sad as she starts losing. The music fluctuates between sad and heroic depending on what's going on, and continues so until the K-pop sequence. Now, I've never listened to K-pop, and I have a younger sister who absolutely hates it, so I can't really say anything about it. Personally, I wish the fight was taken a little bit more seriously, but moving on. When Sprig starts to read Leaf's note, a very beautiful and gentle piano piece starts to play, reflecting Leaf's character. It also ends on a high, hopeful note, hopeful that Andreas will realize why she did what she did. As Andreas realizes his mistake, the music starts to build up, as he literally opens himself, and ends with silence, as Anne goes right through him, thus ending their fight. When Darcy introduces herself, you can hear very tense strumming associated with her character, and when she and Sasha start to fight, a very electric and upbeat version of Sasha's theme plays. But when Sasha is bested, the music turns scary, as Grimes sacrifices his arm. But nevertheless, a very gentle guitar piece plays, as Grimes thanks Sasha for all she has done for him. It is punctured when Darcy makes her joke, and you can hear the fury rise in Sasha as she attacks Darcy with all her might. I want to quickly say, I love this transition between Anne and Sasha during the K-pop sequence, and as Darcy traps Sasha, the music slowly fades out. Although you can barely hear it in the actual episode, the part when Sasha gets up on her sword has such an insane soundtrack. Just listen to it! The fight ends there, and Anne rushes to Sasha, who is holding a limp Marcy. The music turns sad as the two girls pour their heart out to Marcy. But she wakes up, and the three have a tearful reunion. Anne's theme starts to play as she talks about how the three will always be together, with Sprig looking on in the background. Hope this isn't foreshadowing anything. But hey, we did it! The core has been defeated, Andreas is good now, Anne and Sprig will always be together. Wait, what's that? This outro is so fitting to the point I hate it. Music boxes are a symbol of childhood and innocence, and I love how you can hear the clicks and how it is slightly off tune as the moon gets larger and larger in the background. Onto the finale. The hardest thing starts off heroic as the characters celebrate their victory, but it is short-lived as they realize the core has one final trick up their sleeve. Mother Olma arrives, and the music turns sad and sinister as Anne realizes that she may have to sacrifice herself to stop the core. The trio connect with Valeriana, who helps the trio connect with the stones. The music is incredible as the trio play around with their newfound powers, and ends on a high note as they go to fight off the core. Now, for what is perhaps the most beautiful scene in the entire show, the fight against the core. Visuals aside, the music in this scene is such a bop as the trio fight off the core. But they realize that it isn't enough, as Sasha and Marcy's powers start to fade. The music turns dramatic, as Anne confesses that she may have to sacrifice herself to save everyone. A bittersweet guitar tune plays, as the three embrace for what may be the last time. Then, the music rises, as Anne reflects on what is Amphibia's true greatest treasure. And as Anne reaches her true power, Sprig arrives and begs her not to go. The music turns sweet and somber as they also embrace. And then, Anne destroys the core. Anne's theme plays, but it's only the heroic part at its absolute rise, before it suddenly stops. A slow and sweet tune plays as Anne assures Sprig she made the right decision, before fading away and ending the tune. As Anne talks to the Guardian about making mistakes and changing, music that is reminiscent of Wartwood plays, subtly reflecting how they also changed alongside Anne. And as Anne goes back to the world of living, a heroic and outer-worldly tune starts to play. Anne arrives, and the same harmonica tune plays as she looks at everybody else. The others then realize that Anne is alive, and they embrace, as a very happy and upbringing version of Anne's theme plays. But then, the girls realize that the hardest thing is yet to come, saying goodbye to everyone forever. The scene starts off with a sweet harmonic tune, and a sad version of Marcy's theme plays as she and the others say their goodbyes. When Sasha and Grime are shown, a military-style beat plays, but then quickly transforms into another sad version of Sasha's theme as the two embrace each other. And when Anne and the Planters are shown, her theme immediately plays, reflecting that Anne was always herself with them. No lies from her side ever. When Anne and Sprig embrace, a new motif is played, a combination of Anne and Sprig's theme. The trio then have to leave, but not before giving one last bow. The music rises as they do so, and just my goodness, you get the feels as all of the characters cheer the trio one final time. Sprig rushes to hug Anne, and a beautiful piano solo plays as the two embrace for the final time. Anne then leaves, and we see Amphibia slowly rebuild, with the classic Wartwood tune playing in the back. I appreciate the wobbly notes, reflecting Amphibia's never-changing weirdness. And as Anne's statue is about to be revealed, anticipating music plays. And then, Anne's theme plays alongside Wartwood's tune, reflecting how they both are now forever integrated with one another. Sprig's theme plays as Anne is shown in the aquarium, and a beautiful rendition of Anne's theme plays as she talks about moving on and having to let things go. The final outro is a mixture of Sprig's, Marcy's, Sasha's, and Anne's theme. And with that, Amphibia comes to an end. While making this video, I teared up many times, reflecting on just what a great show this was. This video was definitely not easy to make, but what can I say? This show deserves all the love it gets, and so much more. Anyway, that's all from me. See ya!